You've got to see this. Elon Musk held a town hall yesterday. And I'll be honest, I'm using the term town hall really loosely, really, really loosely. This was one of the most completely deranged public events I've seen in a while. And we've covered Donald Trump, okay? At one point, I almost feel bad for this woman. At one point, you hear a woman from the audience say, "Do you know when the Doge checks are going to be sent out?" I don't know how else to say this other than there are no Doge checks. There are people who have been convinced that because of the $1 trillion in savings that Elon is claiming, which is imaginary, they are now going to get a refund. Now, as I've explained to you before, since we're running a deficit, even if this savings were real, which the bullet point they're claiming is 130 billion, most of that seems to be made up. Even if it were real, if the point here is to get us out of deficit spending, you can't start cutting checks to people. The savings would simply go to cutting the deficit. But why would we let facts get in the way of reality? Here is a woman I feel really bad for saying, "When do you think I'm going to get my check?"
I just want to say that Doge's findings demonstrate to the American people that the government clearly does not care about our hard-earned tax dollars. I'm only 26, but I can imagine it's frustrating for people who have worked their entire lives to see their tax dollars going to fraud, waste, and abuse. And you alone have contributed so much money to our government via taxes, so thank you.
You're welcome.
He contributed $260 million to Trump's campaign.
Sorry that your money's not being spent very well. You've clearly shown your leadership and team is capable of transforming our government into something better than what we see today. I just want to say I'm sure I'm not the only one who's wondering, but we know that Doge has found quite a bit of money, and
remember, they haven't found any money.
We would like to see some of that returned to the American people. Do you have any information on when Doge checks would be written or sent out?
It's sort of like, what are you talking about?
Sure. Well, I guess we need to be successful at scale. We've made a lot of progress, but there's still a tremendous amount of work to do.
Now, remember, he's also claiming mission accomplished and he's leaving.
Effectively, as government spending is made more efficient and spending is reduced, the tax by inflation is reduced.
By the way, pay really close attention to what he's saying here.
One way or another, you will effectively be better off.
Did you catch that? So there are no Doge checks coming, okay? What Elon is saying is that the way you will get your money is that all of the savings he found will have a deflationary effect, and spending less on stuff is like getting a refund. Now, we will follow that. We will see if we ever get a negative inflation rate. But this is him saying, you're not really going to get a check per se, but everything's going to be so much cheaper thanks to what I've done that will be your refund.
If resources in the United States are not wasted. And it's somewhat up to the Congress and maybe the president to as to whether specific checks are cut, but
which means that they're not going to be cut. Okay, let me give you the answer. We're all wondering when the Doge checks are going out. Those don't exist, ma'am. There are no Doge checks. Congress is not going to cut Doge subsidies. It just doesn't exist. They have no idea that they are being scammed. And this is what happens when people start believing in billionaires as if they are gods, like they did with Trump in 2016. You get an audience full of people. Yeah, the Doge checks. There's no Doge checks coming. What are you talking about? And then it gets worse. Musk, Elon Musk gets heckled, not even aggressively. And he goes full conspiracy mode, talking about George Soros.
The federal government, like shocking, really. It's insane. It's really wild. So, like, I mean, it was inevitable that at least a few Soros operatives would be in the audience.
Yeah. When you are criticized, it must be a plot funded by, hold on a second. How old is George Soros now? It's obvious that 94-year-old George Soros is paying people to go to an Elon Musk town hall and boo. This is the go-to deflection for people with no answers. Blame the 94-year-old Jewish billionaire and imply that a shadowy communist force is at work here.
Give my regards to George. Say hi to George for me. USA.
Yeah. Then he went on even more about this.
But I think the real issue is who's organizing and funding that. Like there's the same people that organized and funded the infiltrators, who are the hecklers earlier tonight. So it's whoever they are, and I guess we know some of their names, but it's really, yeah, Soros and a bunch of others.
Right.
I'm not
really electrifying speaker.
sure really sometimes I wonder, what is their goal? Like what's their aim? I guess, is it communism? I guess is a part of it, or just, I don't know. Sometimes I wonder.
Yeah. Now, it shouldn't be lost on us that the whole point of this event that Elon did is to try to turn the Wisconsin Supreme Court election in his favor. And so think of the sick irony, and it's a terrifying, dystopian sick irony, where on the one hand, Elon is saying the protesters are here because of George Soros. Soros wants communism, and so he's putting his thumb on the scales. Elon went to Wisconsin with the idea of handing a couple people $1 million to try to buy a Supreme Court seat. The shadowy billionaire messing with our elections is Elon Musk, not George Soros. And I sort of jokingly said, I want to get this right. I shockingly, I put out an excretion on X over the weekend, but I also put it on Blue Sky and Substack. I said, I'm aware of a guy who came to the US on a student visa, dropped out of school, and then worked illegally. Then he started tampering with federal elections and is grifting the government for profitable contracts. His name is Elon Musk. And as always, the calls seem to be coming from inside the house. And it is Elon Musk who is doing that which he accuses George Soros of doing. So, what are we even talking about here? Doge checks doesn't exist. Soros operatives booing in the crowd doesn't exist. Approaching communism doesn't exist. This is a billionaire tech CEO who used to be treated like a genius and is now ranting like someone who's upset that he lost the debate on Facebook's comment section in 2011. That's where we are. And terrifyingly, he has seemingly nearly as much power as the president of the United States. The upside, he's leaving in a few weeks. The downside, I guess millions of Americans are expecting to be cut a check that's never going to show up. After researching, writing, refining, The Echo Machine, my book, is finally out. This is not just a book about how American politics got so broken. It's also about what's happening right now and what we can still do to stop things from getting worse. Trump's been back in power. The results have been even more catastrophic than many feared, with targeting of political opponents and gutting democratic institutions, laying the groundwork to even further consolidate power. But the thing is that none of this is inevitable. The same forces that brought us here can be countered if we understand how they work and what to do about them. And that's what The Echo Machine is all about. Some say that without corporate media backing, books like this can't succeed. I think we can prove them wrong. You can get The Echo Machine right now at davidpakman.com/echo on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, Audible, Kindle, or by calling any local bookstore and asking them to order it. This book is more important than ever. If you care about what happens next, and I do, check out The Echo Machine today at davidpakman.com/echo.